Alright guys, so now onto the painting. We're going to start with P3 Exile Blue. It's going to provide us with a pretty good base coat, and also it's going to begin the shading stages on this model's armor. So, like I said, I'm just going to be doing this on the arm. That way you guys don't have to watch me paint a whole model, because that generally takes me a very long time. So, alright, and I've dimmed the paint down quite a bit, so it's about 1:1 water to paint. And can apply this pretty liberally to the area. It's going to kind of look like we're actually painting a real librarian for this entire base coating period. Hopefully the audio quality on this is okay. I'm trying to speak up, but alright, so we have a nice little blue base coat, and it's really a bad example of the thickness of my paint, but you can see about how much I applied to my palette. So I really work with these are just a plate that I got 4 of for $1 at Walmart during back to school, while everybody was shopping for groceries and school supplies and crap. Alright, so moving on, our next color is going to be Scorn Red, and this gets mixed in a 1:1 ratio with Exile Blue. So really I just kind of mix it onto my palette with what's left from the base coat. And it comes out to an almost sanguine base color, which is another P3 paint for those of you that don't use P3. In reality, I would actually use sanguine base on this model, but unfortunately I recently ran out, and we just apply this as liberally as we can as well, because it honestly isn't going to make a difference at this stage if it gets everywhere. Now, if you are working on a model and this is the last part you're painting, obviously you want to be more careful, but since this is the beginning of this piece, it doesn't really make as big of a difference if I get the paint everywhere. And it's kind of hard to tell because my camera really can't pick this up, but it gives it a reddish tint to the blue and brings it up to where we can actually start adding more and more Scorn Red to begin our actual red colors. And as I'm working on this, I'm taking into account where light source for this model is hitting this on the arm, and trying to maintain definition of that source as I apply these colors. So next I've added more Scorn Red into the color, the base color, and we're just gonna kind of come in here and apply successive washes of sorry, my hand was just covering the lens. The nice thing about doing it is the way I paint, I generally will highlight and bring everything up to brighter colors, and then I'll wash it all back down or reshade. So basically I spend a lot more time focusing on the highlights than I do on the shades in the initial stages, but then I go back and reshade in some of the deepest points. Also, since I'm not sure quite if you can hear what's playing in the background, I've got a South Park Imagination Land playing on my laptop across the table from me, which is a pretty awesome set. If you haven't watched the Imagination Land episodes, they are pretty freaking awesome. Especially parts with M. Night Shyamalan and some very other famous celebrities. Excuse me. Like I said, allergies are beating my face in right now. Alright, so sorry guys. This is the point that we're at. We've begun the highlights with Scorn Red. At the current point, I'm up to pure Scorn Red.